this is Debbie Seidel-Bickey, and I'm founder of Dental Practice Solutions. I wanted to take some time with you today because on Tuesday, November 10th, we had a webinar and it was at capacity. I mean, the lines basically blew up. We had hundreds of hygienists and dentists that registered, and we couldn't even accommodate all the people who registered for the webinar. If you'd like to find out what all the buzz is about, you can register now and receive the 3-part hygiene empowerment video series along with the link to listen to the webinar. You go to dentalhygiene.solutions and you put your name and email in. You'll have to opt in by confirming in your email. There'll be a link that you confirm that you want to receive this video series and webinar. Now, I wanted to share with you some of the questions. We had about 10 questions. I wanted to share 2 of them with you in particular, maybe 3. One of them was, what do we bill for when we have 1 to 3 teeth of scaling and root planing? Do we schedule them for 3 months? Or do we bill for a prophy? What do we do with that? And I see this all the time with our clients. When we first start working with them, it takes a while for them to get over the hump of what to do after scaling and root planing. And I just had a great conversation with Dr. Charles Blair of Practice Booster. You can look that up online for his website. And he was telling me that according to the ADA, if you're concerned about the CDT codes and your patients getting payment from the insurance company, that after scaling and root planing, they do need to come back for a tissue check. I call it a reevaluation or like a post-operative visit. You want to make sure that the patient, their disease is not active, that the pocket depths have resolved. So think of that as a post-operative visit. And they're coming back in 4 to 6 weeks because we know that 28 days is typical for the healing process. They're going to come back and you're going to reevaluate by doing a comprehensive periodontal examination. You can do some site-specific scaling and polishing, and you're going to find out what is the endpoint balance. How long can that patient go between their next visit? Do they need to have more scaling and root planing? Do they need to have a periodontist referral? Can they go 3 months or 4 months? So that's the decision that you make 4 to 6 weeks later after the scaling and root planing phase 1 is completed at this point. And I know that according to the American Academy of Periodontology and the American Dental Hygienists Association, after scaling and root planing, the patient is considered a periodontal maintenance patient. If the disease becomes active again, then they will go through scaling and root planing. So I want to mention to you that if you're not insurance driven, that when the patient comes back, they're coming back for periodontal maintenance. Now, the other caveat is when talking with Dr. Charles Blair, he mentioned that there are some insurance companies, if you bill for a prophy, maybe you're thinking you're going to bill for a prophy at the tissue check. There are some insurance companies that will kick out any future periodontal therapy. So the bottom line here is that you need to tell the patient what they need and that sometimes they are going to need to pay for part of their treatment. Imagine that insurance is a benefit. It's not a free-for-all. And that's what I was telling the attendees on the webinar is that if patients have employers that provide benefits. For example, they have 2 weeks paid vacation, holidays are paid off, sick leave, they have a pension plan, those are benefits. But they're not going to be paying for their vacation when they have 2 weeks off. They're not paying for the airfare and the hotel and the nice dinners. And it's the same thing with their insurance. 40 years ago, I remember I was a dental assistant 40 years ago, and insurance companies paid about a maximum of $1,000. And fast forward to today, it's the same thing. Insurance companies aren't paying any more. What has happened in our world today is that things cost more. Dentistry is more expensive, but insurance still pays the same. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Dr. Blair has some really great information, and you're going to need to buy some of those new handbooks next year, because after talking to him, we're going to a medical model here with dentistry. So it's important to keep abreast of that if your office is insurance driven. The next question that I wanted to address is the hygienist asked, how much should a hygienist produce per hour? Now, I can give you a straight answer. The most important thing is that you need to know what you are producing per hour. That's called job security. Typically, we see that a hygienist can, and I show our hygiene teams how they can produce $250 an hour. It's not that difficult to do if you are providing same-day services such as sealants and different types of impressions for various appliances in that hygiene appointment. The other question that we had was on hygiene empowerment, and I want to ask you to look at hygiene empowerment because our clients are enrolled in hygiene empowerment, which is an accountability-based program for the hygiene department, and within 3 weeks they are tripling their investment on this program. That's accountability based and virtual. So I wanted to have you look at dentalhygiene.solutions/join and read more about that, because many of these dental practices who were on the call are enrolling in hygiene empowerment. Before Friday, I've discounted it by 10%. Then on Monday, they will receive their first video module. They can watch that at their leisure. They have an implementation guide with action items. If they were to print out the implementation guide, it provides a dental hygiene department manual. It's accountability based because I meet with the hygienist for 6 months, once a month for about an hour. And then I also meet with doctor and review the metrics and other challenges that they may be experiencing each month. Next week, I'll be back for another video. Have a great week. Bye for now.